Good morning, this is Olav from Career Weather Center, and here I am back with a new video, and this time about a very important topic, and that is about the hurricane season forecast for this year across the Atlantic Basin. So let's first look at the sea surface temperatures across the globe. In this case, across the Eastern Pacific and the Central Pacific, you can already see those red colors. That means that temperatures are above average across those areas. And if you particularly check the area of the Eastern Pacific, of Ecuador and Peru, these are already what they call a coastal El Nino, and that means that an indication that we will have El Nino conditions later this year. In this case, we expect it to be classified by the month of June or July, if not. So, and it will have implications on this hurricane season across the Atlantic Basin. Let's look at the trend. You can see already the anomalies have been going up, positive anomalies right now at about 0.4 degrees. That means that if it gets to 0.5, it couples with the atmosphere, we will have then the El Nino conditions, and that will soon happen as indicated probably by the month of June, if not July. And as also shown by the model of the NOAA, the forecast of the NOAA, in this case they show 62% chance of El Nino classified during the month of June, 82% by the peak of the season, that's in September, and also then by the end of the year it will be 87% by the end of the year chance of El Nino. So El Nino is clearly coming, and some forecasts indicate it will be a moderate to strong one, the strongest one maybe since 2015. So that is certainly something to take into consideration, and also the fourth strongest one in recent history. So let's go to the forecast. We expect a total of 13 tropical storms, out of which 5 will be hurricanes, out of which 2 are expected to be major hurricanes. That is lower than the average of 14 tropical storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes, and also lower than last year when we had La Nina, when we had a total of 14 tropical storms, 8 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. The major hurricanes were lower because of all the factors that were not favorable last year. So what will be the factors that will influence the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season? First of all, obviously, the moderate to strong El Nino that is forecasted, that is obviously a factor that will not contribute, not be favorable for the development of tropical cyclones. We expect more wind shear because of the El Nino, and that also shares, breaks apart all tropical cyclones that trend to want to develop, try to develop. So that means that those cyclones will have difficulties to develop, and when they do develop, they might stay, most of them, in the area of the Caribbean, for example, or before the Caribbean, on the weaker side. When they meet more favorable conditions, then they can get stronger. We also expect average to above average sea surface temperatures. This is a favorable factor for the development of tropical cyclones. That is why I've shaded it in red. And another one is an active monsoon across Africa that also can lead to stronger, robust tropical waves. But when they get over the Atlantic Basin, they meet those unfavorable conditions, and that's why we expect a slightly weaker or hurricane season than normal. But because of the stronger trade winds that will be available over the Atlantic Basin, they will be present. Because of a stronger high pressure that also leads to sinking air, more stable air, so less instability, more stable conditions, so less conditions that are favorable for the development for tropical cyclones, and also more dry air, saran dust, that also does not help for the formation of tropical cyclones. So what are the areas that we will be looking at this season? Most likely the Gulf of Mexico will be one area, one spot to watch. Also the main development region will be one area to watch, but mostly the area of the areas of the Atlantic, such as Bermuda, and a hotspot will certainly be the Bahamas. So the area of the subtropical Atlantic will have the higher sea surface temperatures, the higher anomalies. So that does always also contribute to more activity over those areas when temperatures in this area are around average or even lower than average. And that is also the reason why we expect most of the activity over these areas. But remember that also areas such as the Leeward Islands could have an impact of one system of maybe 2 or 3 systems. Because of the unfavorable conditions, these systems might, suffer to get stronger, so they may stay on the weaker side. So that's something very positive in this case, if there is any system that affects those areas. And it's unlikely that we will have a tropical system over the ABC Islands, because historically we have not seen any over this area. So that is very positive news for our local islands. And also over the Windward Islands, maybe a system, but chances are lower than average. So this is the area shaded in red to follow in the coming months, because we expect most of the activity over those areas. But always be prepared, because some of them could still affect some of the islands, northern part of the Caribbean during this season. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for following us, and I will keep on updating you in the coming months. Thank you.